you another episode of The Biggest Transformation. Welcome back to the channel, by the way. If this is your first time joining us, welcome. And if you've been a faithful watcher, if you've watched all these episodes, we are just getting ready to round out week 8. If you've been with us for the entire season, thank you so much for your support. Thank you for watching. I want to invite you, if you have not joined our growing community here on YouTube, to do that. Smash the subscribe button, ring the notification bell. If you're watching, click the like button. That helps YouTube get these stories, these inspirational stories out to people that need them. Inspiration always propels us to act. It's the thing that gets us off the couch and into action and changing our lives. And so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on with the cast, get into our weigh-in. They weigh in live every single week, which is kind of crazy. They actually get on the scale. You get to see them getting on the scale in their homes and see how they did for the week. So let's go ahead and jump on, see how they did, and get into this week's episode. Well, good morning. Happy end of week 8. Can you believe the end of week 8? Isn't that kind of nuts? I don't know. I think it's kind of nuts. But anyway, so I guess let's go ahead and hop into our weigh-ins, get those out of the way, and then we'll jump into all the other excitedness. Peggy, you are up, girlfriend.
Okay, here we go.
$48.8.
Shane Short, coming to the scale.
All right. $328.4.
Ashley, you are up, girl. So is that 210.4?
Yep.
Andy.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun. 207.2. Boom. And Karen?
$278.8.
178.8.
Or 178. Yeah.
Okay, Denise.
All right.
Judy.
Yep.
$220.4.
Yep.
In a tie this week after 8 weeks for first place is Andy and Karen with 14.7% of your body lost. Crazy. So Andy, you have lost a total of 43.4 pounds. Karen, you lost a total of 39.3 pounds. So congratulations. Andy's moving on up. Like total domination these past couple weeks, Andy. In second place, a total of 58.2 pounds lost, 13% of your body. Shane in second place. Third place, Denise with a total of 28 pounds lost, 9.3% of your body. Denise. Fourth place, Ashley, a total of 25.8 pounds, 9.2%. Miss Ashley, fourth place, congratulations. Fifth place, Peggy, 8.9% of your body, 22.2 pounds. Congratulations, Peggy. Sixth place, Judy, 21.4 pounds, 7.2% of your body gone. Sayonara, forever, never to return. A total of 238.3 pounds you 7 have lost in the past 8 weeks. That is absolutely incredible. Let's chat. Let's chit chat. All right, so I want to talk this week about, I want to talk for a second about old habits. And I want to talk about, listen,
we are never going to get to where we want to go with our health using our old habits. Does that make sense? And so what makes losing weight so hard is we are really and truly, we are fighting against those old habits and creating new habits. And with that, just because we make a decision that we're going to make some new habits doesn't mean those suckers just die. It doesn't mean that those things just go away and are like, okay, see you later, because you want them to. So just because we decide we're going to change our bad habits doesn't mean they always leave willingly or easily. Sometimes we have to physically imagine going into a house and trying to remove somebody from your home that doesn't want to leave. Okay. They're like, no, they're holding on. They're sitting in your recliner. They're holding on. They're like, I'm not going anywhere. And you like, oh, yes, you are, sucker. You're getting out of my house. And so imagine trying to remove someone from your house that does not want to leave. Sometimes that's what it's like to remove a bad habit. And so I want to talk really quickly. I know there was some chit chat this week. Some of you guys were struggling with some bad habits. I want to address that. And listen, it's not addressing it from a place of, yesterday Karen said, I feel like I'm in trouble. Listen, it's not addressing it from a place of you're in trouble. It's not addressing it from a place of I'm disappointed in you or I'm upset, or it's addressing it from a point of your success. It's addressing it from a point of, from a perspective of this will derail you if we don't get control of it and if we don't address it. And so typically when people have and we'll just talk about this one. This is one of many. And that is indulging in unplanned indulgences and having an unplanned treat, having an unplanned cheat, going against what you said you were going to do and doing the exact opposite. That's really what it's about. It's not about the fact that you ate pizza, ate cake, ate peanut butter. It's not the fact of you had a cheat or a treat or an indulgence, or it's a success habit is doing what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. Okay. A overweight habit is giving into the emotions of what's going on, giving into our environment, giving into what other people want us to do, giving into what our freaking flesh, our cravings, our, saliva gland things that call out to the pizza calls out to them. Have you ever smelled pizza and it just feels like your mouth is watering? Pizza is one of the worst smells for me, man. Pizza and McDonald's. Those are two of the worst, hardest, I can just taste it as soon as I smell it. And so a good habit is, no, I plan to have one piece, so I'm going to have one piece. I plan to have no pieces, so I'm going to have no pieces. I plan to have two pieces, so I'm going to have two pieces. Now, there's a couple different things I want to talk about with this, because a lot of times when we start losing weight, we can plan to have a piece. And another bad habit is feeling guilty about the piece we plan to have. So we're just going to talk about all the habits when it comes to food real quick, or cheats or treats or indulgences, whatever you want to call it. Listen, if you have a planned treat and you plan to have a piece of pizza, or you plan to have 2 tacos, or you plan to have a double cheeseburger from McDonald's, whatever your planned treat was, it is an unhealthy habit to feel guilty about that treat when you have it. And sometimes when we're losing weight, we can eat the treat and then we can be like, oh, I shouldn't have done it. Like, what if the scale pops up? Oh my goodness. That is an unhealthy mindset when it comes to weight loss. Are you hearing me? Are you with me on that? Same thing as, I wasn't going to have any, whatever, I got a treat coming anyway. Let me just go ahead and have it. Also, unhealthy habit. So this week, I know one of the struggles is giving in. And I was really glad that you guys came on here. You were honest. You used our chat. You used our group for what it's meant for. And that is support. Being open and honest. Because in a lot of past, at least for me, and I know many of you from you sharing, you would have hid the fact that you had something you weren't supposed to. You would have lied about it. You wouldn't have been honest. You wouldn't have told anybody. So it's a huge step that you said, hey, I just caved and had X, Y, Z. Hey, I just went in and ate something that was not on my plan. That was a huge, huge sprout. And it's really good not to beat yourself up. It's really good to look at, okay, why did I do that? What inside of me led me to freaking go eat that? And kind of analyze it. This is where you put your analyzer glasses on and you say, what was it that made me do that? Because what did that card just do? Those cards that got you off track just showed their hand. So what was it about that peanut butter and jelly at whatever time of night it was, Karen, what was it? You need to go back and look at that and say, because I guarantee it's not the first time it's happened. And so it's figuring out, was it a time frame? Was it something that happened? Was it a certain amount of weight loss where you felt entitled? Like, you need to figure out what was it that was like, I gotta have this peanut butter. And in your words, you ate it like a savage. Isn't that funny how we do that? We're like, get in my belly. And then, I know Ashley said the same thing, and I'm sure she's done it or going to do it, going back and saying, okay, this was my plan. And, the woman handed me the cookie on a paper, being sweet, here you go, I got you a piece. So what was it that made you say, no, I'm good, thank you. Actually, I'm going to save this for later. Thank you so much. Just taking it and setting it aside. What was it that made you get off track? And so not punishing yourself, not shaming yourself, that's good. Analyzing it. Why did I go here? That's good. Let me tell you what's not good. And I'm not saying anybody's done this. I'm just going to, since we're talking about this, I'm going to hit it. Justifying it, not good. Well, it's okay because I had a cheat coming. And I'm not saying you did that. I know that you may have done that afterwards and said, well, I had a cheat, so I'm going to erase the cheat. So that way I'm just going to use that. I'm not talking about anyone specifically. I'm simply giving examples. Justifying the cheat. Well, I've lost 20 pounds. So you know what? What's this going to hurt? The scale's not moving anyway. So what's a little peanut butter? That's okay. I had a treat coming. So I'm just going to count this as the treat. It's not the fact that you had a treat or a cheat coming. It's the fact that, did you plan it or did you eat according to your emotions? We get overweight because we allow our emotions to take control. We allow our emotions to become the CEO of our decisions. And to get to a healthy weight, to have success in our health, we've got to get to a point where we are in control, not our emotions, not the other people around us, not, whoever, us, we're in control, and we're in control according to our goals. And so I would love to sit here and tell you that, this is going to be a one-time struggle, one and done. You struggled with it for a week and you're done with it. But unfortunately, that's not the case, because you're creating a new habit. And, people used to say it takes 21 days to create a new habit. That's not necessarily true. Sometimes it can take up to 6 or 8 months to create a completely new habit. And so you're not walking in the old one. Some go easy, some don't. And for most of us that have struggled with eating out of emotions, eating out of boredom, eating out of peer pressure, eating out of social pressure, those things don't just go easily. They take some time. And for some of us, we struggle with them more. I struggled with it a lot. I had to really, really work on not, because especially for me, social pressure was a big one. So it's really getting to a place where we're honoring our commitments. It's really getting to a place where we do have, listen, inside of my life, I have treats and cheats all the time on a weekly basis, unless my plan is not to. But normally in my maintenance mode, my plan is to. And I make sure they're planned. On vacations, I know the nights I'm going to go hog wild. I know the nights there's going to be a candy bar inside of my condo in Florida, and we're going to eat all of it. I know the nights there's going to be 3 different kinds of ice cream, and I'm going to have a scoop of each of them with some Reese's Pieces on top, with a side of hot tamales, with some peanut butter warmed up in the microwave and drizzled over all 3 different kinds of ice cream. But I know the nights, and the nights I'm not, I don't. Last night we were here at my brother and sister-in-law's, and we were watching the UFC fights. I knew what I was going to snack on, and I knew what I wasn't. I knew my mother-in-law makes these things called crackers, and I knew how many I was going to have. Why? Because I didn't want to go home and gain 5 pounds after this trip. For me, it just wasn't on my radar. And so I know what my plan is. So I made a decision before last night that I was going to have 6 crackers. 6. Now, could I have just went hog wild and had as many as I wanted? Yes. But for me, it's about making a plan and honoring it. Now, there might be some days where it's like, I'm going to have as many crackers as I want. And if that's my plan, guess what? There's no guilt in having as many crackers as I want. But I want to encourage you guys to really think about, it's not coming from a place of deprivation. It's coming from a place of making a plan and sticking to it. We all got to where we were unhealthy because we didn't have a plan. We were on the non-plan, like Shane says, seafood. We were on the seafood plan. I see food and I eat it. I see food that I want and I eat it. Yeah. Does that make sense? Let me know. Did what I just say, does that make sense to you guys?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
it does.
Sense.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to make sure you're hearing me, and I want to make sure you guys understand the difference. And I want to make sure you also understand. And, you know, Shane, you hit the nail on the head yesterday when you said, listen, I understand y'all are calling it a plan, your cheat, but I think the bigger deal is that it wasn't a plan. And I was really proud of you, Shane, because, you know, you had the thought of, hey, I got a cheat coming. I could just right now indulge in this thing I want and have it as my cheat. And you were like, no, because I didn't plan on this. So I'm not going to do it. And to have you only be, you know, 13% of the way into this, you've lost 13%. You're still, you know, you're not even halfway done yet. And to already be having that thought, I was just really proud that you were able to think outside of your emotions, to think outside of your cravings, and to even be able to have that thought and communicate that. I was like, yes, because really it's when you start having those thoughts. And even, you know, Ashley, when you were like, hey, I'm going to go analyze this and see where did the breakdown happen? Because here's what I said I wasn't going to do, and here's what I did. So what was it? Why did I make that decision in the moment to say, you know what, screw it, I'm having it? What was that? And so, yeah. And some of us have a little more inner rebellion than others. I have a lot of that inner rebellion where, you know, even against myself, I have inner rebellion against my GPS. Like, that broad is so bossy. And even sometimes when I try to tell myself what to do, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. Like, I just have this issue inside of me sometimes with authority, even when it's myself telling me to do something. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. F you, Carmen. Like, that's stupid. Aren't we so ridiculous sometimes?
Carmen, I had a thought that helped me this week. I've been planning a cheat this Sunday since we started carb cycling, because I was already down 5 pounds, but I couldn't do a cheat in carb cycling. So I'm waiting to this afternoon. I was thinking I'm going to get this little personal pizza that they have this place, but then actually I've upgraded it to a good steak, which is all protein. So, but Friday we had this long Zoom meeting and somebody brought in this really good bottle of tequila. So at the end of the day, my son's like, hey, let's do some shots of tequila. And I'm thinking, how many calories is that? Okay, it's 96 calories. Okay, I can use that for my cheat. And I'm like, no, that's just stupid because I'm planning a really good cheat on Sunday. So then yesterday we're working at my son's house. I get this salad with chicken strips on it and like nothing else, or some, you know, onions or something. Everybody else is eating pizza. The pizza smells throughout the house. I'm like, okay. At that point, I was like, I'm still going to do the pizza. But then I'm like, well, okay, I can count this as my cheat. But then I didn't want to do the cheat because I'm weighing in on Sunday. But I'm like, no, I've got to. So what I'm getting is the planned cheat kept me from cheating. Because I'm like, I'm going to waste this stupid cheat in the moment when I got this really good planned cheat. And the really good planned cheat is eating a steak twice as big as I usually do, because usually like this big. Now I can eat one, you know, normal size. And because I love steak. And I would love that a whole lot better than just throwing down a piece of pizza, or worse, a shot of tequila, which would have been. So anyhow, I think if you think about your planned cheat and you've earned it and how good it's going to be, that's what kept me from cheating. So it was helpful to me.
No, you're 100% correct. You planned on your cheat. You knew what you were going to have. You put thought into it and you were going to honor that. So it was like in the moment, I can have this pizza or I can stick with my plan. And so, no, it was at 100%. I love that, Andy. Thank you for sharing that. And I agree 100%. It was the same with me 90% of the time. It was that planned cheat. And again, you got to listen. If you're not taking your cheats, at least every 10, I took 70 to 80% of my, I mean, 70 to 80% of my cheats, I took them. And so if you're having a problem with cheating, maybe it's not taking your cheats, your treats, whatever name you want to put on it. Maybe it's because you're not taking it. And so sometimes, sometimes that can go back to the root of all or nothing. No, I'm in weight loss mode. I'm not taking any cheats. And then you go have an unplanned one. So it's really just looking at that and where am I? What is still derailing me? What am I still battling with? All of that. So I do want to say, just on a quick side note, Shane, all that food at your freaking clinic that you resist on the regular, I can just tell you, you were doing way better than I would have done. I look at that stuff and I look at the brownies and the cakes and the muffins and all the things they have all the time. And it is incredible the fact that you are around that every day and you can just walk in there and take it and you resist. And so I just wanted to say good job to that, because I just think that's absolutely.
Thanks. I feel like this issue of planned cheats, I've confronted it a lot so far in this journey, because I have so much to lose and it's come off fairly fast so far. I've had 11 5-pound losses so far. Like it's just a lot. Like I've only taken, I think, 4, something like that, just because I have the goals that I'm trying to hit, and I'm okay with that. But the thought of like justifying it and things like that in the moment, it's come up a lot. It's been in here. It's been a constant battle. So anyway, this is good. I'm loving what you're saying today.
If you could give a word of advice to yourself 5 years ago, where you were 5 years ago, what would it be? So if you could give a word of advice based on your health, your weight loss, what you know now, what you've learned, what advice would you give to yourself 5 years ago?
5 years ago. Oh boy. Basically the first phrase that came out of my mind as soon as you asked that question was, don't give up. But I'm not sure if that's if that's it, but I feel like that's probably what it would be. Believe in yourself, as well as, yeah, something like that along that line is what I'm kind of thinking.
Awesome. I think that's great advice, because most people do. They give up.
Yeah.
I think that's awesome.
That my health matters, that to think of that all the time. And because when I eat healthy, I feel so much better. And when I don't eat healthy, it's emotion, it's cravings, it's, giving in and not even thinking about my health. So just that would probably be it.
It's awesome.
To care about my health.
Thanks for not crying, Peggy.
I almost did.
I can't believe.
Peggy, you would have sent me. I'm already teetering. Thank you, Peggy. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No, I think that's awesome, because it does matter. Like your health, if you don't have that, it matters so much. And I think so many of us, so many times we think, well, we always think we have later, right? We have next year, we have next month, next year I'll do something. And because we think everything else matters more than our health does. And so I think that's amazing. I think it's amazing advice.
Advice I give myself, I would say find a group of like-minded people to join you in the journey. Even superheroes collaborate. If that's not too arrogant. And get started every day. Stop waiting.
That's awesome. Even superheroes collaborate. I like that. It's true though. All of the best ones. They work with each other's strengths.
I marvel at you, Shane.
Oh my goodness.
Is that a superhero joke?
Yeah. It
That
is.
was good. I like that.
Judy, quick-witted this morning.
Ooh, watch out. I've been up. I told you, swallowing spit for nothing.
He's up.
But I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. But
I have a white sofa and I'm drinking coffee, people. Killing me. I'm gonna spit my coffee.
All right, Ash, you're back up again.
Okay. I would just say everything that you want, you can have. Everything you want is possible within your daily habits, what you do each day. You get either a day closer to everything you want or a day further behind.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's interesting you said 5 years ago. 5 years ago is when our life changed completely. Everything changed. Everything familiar to us was gone. And it was very depressing. And so those that are doing, I'd say the people that may be listening who are depressed or going through a hard time, is those things were removed for a reason. And they really weren't good for us. So, God had a different plan. But what I would say to myself today, and you've said it, Carmen, is I kept looking back. And back brought me into more depression. And then I would eat. I went from less than what I am now to gaining 60 pounds, over 60 or 70 pounds over the last 5 years. And so what I would say today is realize that things are removed from your life, usually for a reason. And the other thing is, you said something earlier on, we can't move forward if we're looking back. We can't do both at the same time. So that really stuck with me and made a lot of sense. I knew that we can't look backwards. So what I would say to people who are going through this, or for me, we have to look forward. We just can't automatically block everything out from the past, but we must look forward, and really looking forward to the goals of this. What is the goal? When I want to cheat, what is the goal? So I'm looking forward to the goal, looking forward to continuing this as a lifestyle. So the message would be, look forward. Don't keep looking backwards. When you look backwards, you're definitely not moving forward. So that would be my message.
It's awesome. So
Very
good.
good.
So good. Thank you, Andy. The Judester. What advice would you give yourself 5 years ago?
I would say, get a hold of your health ASAP. You only have one life. Put in the work and reap the rewards. That's what I would say. And get a new hairdresser. Awesome.
It looks so good.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Ash.
I love how you had the emphasis on work, because so often we get started in weight loss and we think it's just, we see these fads out there, right? Where people get these quick results and their flights flipping and flying off real quickly. And we forget the fact that it's work, and anything that comes, when it comes easy, it goes easy. Easy come, easy go. It's the things we have to work for that are long lasting. And so I love the fact that you were like, put in the work. I love that. Awesome. And Karen, what advice would you give yourself 5 years ago? If you could go back, teleport 5 years ago, have a sit down, heart to heart talk with yourself, what would you say? Listen, woman.
I bought this, I think when I started my journey.
Karen.
I don't want to cry. Believing sorry. Believing in myself has probably been my biggest struggle. All of my life, in every aspect of my life. So what I would say, first and foremost, is you have to have that belief, and not because other people have it. I had to learn that I needed to believe in me. And that's where it started for me, was when I started believing in me, I started seeing the changes. And it wasn't because you believed in me, Carmen. It wasn't because my friends believed in me. It wasn't because anybody believed in me. I had to believe in me for the first time. And I would say, especially for those people that are so desperate to want to lose weight, first of all, believe that you can, and to never give up on yourself. Never quit. Even when you fall down, even when you make mistakes, it's okay. Just never quit. And that's what I would have said 5 years ago. When so many things were thrown at me, and I had to find something. I had to start somewhere. So it started with this.
Awesome job, Karen. And you're right. You ain't going nowhere without that. And belief and faith are buddies. They travel together all the time. So, yeah. You think about what you guys have learned, and you think about, just think about in the past 8 weeks, the revelation you've had, the things you've learned about yourself, the habits you are changing, the willpower muscle you've strengthened. Like, if you just think back to how far you've come, I mean, let's not even talk about the weight loss, because if you change the habits, if you change the inner beliefs, if you start to change those things, first we form our habits, then they form us. When you change those things, you automatically change the weight. It's when you don't change those things and you just go on some crazy fad diet and lose the weight that it comes back, because you never dealt with the root of why you gained the weight in the first place. And so, coming into week 9, here's what I will say, and I want to give you guys it's a little bit of encouragement, but it's a little bit of a warning at the same time, because for a lot of us, this is unfamiliar territory. Most of us have not been strong, committed, and focused for this long on one thing for a very long time. And in the very beginning, if you look at week 1, week 2, week 3, it was really easy to be committed because we were excited. You didn't have to manufacture excitement. You didn't have to create the excitement. It was this new, shiny, woo, look what I'm doing. Ah! excited to get on these calls, excited to get on Marco Polo, excited to check in, excited for the butt whippings, excited for the correction, excited for the conviction. That happens excitement happens naturally in the beginning. But there's always a point when the excitement wears off and all that's left. And let me make no mistake, it was still work in the beginning. But when you're excited and you have work, it makes the excitement, you look forward to it. It makes the work still exciting. But eventually, when the excitement starts to wear off, you still got the work. And now we're not as excited to check in. Now we're not as excited to get on the Marco Polo. And if you do not figure out a way if you do not choose to manufacture excitement, you know what that means? That means you create it. Most of us sit there and wait on it. And we rely on the excitement that comes. This is why people diet hop constantly, and they're constantly switching from thing to thing, this thing, that thing, because they're addicted to that excitement. And they haven't mastered the skill. They're waiting on a new thing to inject excitement, instead of learning how to manufacture it, learning how you can create your own excitement. You start injecting excitement. You choose to get excited. You wake up and say, today, I'm gonna bring excitement to my workout. Because if you don't choose to bring excitement, it's gonna be a drag. Everything will become a drag. Your workouts, your meal planning, your food prep, this group, these meetings, the Marco Polo, everything will be like, oh, we gotta do this Sunday thing. Hopefully it's not too long today. That'll be the thoughts that start to happen. Instead of getting excited to check in the Marco Polo group, you'll go to log in and go, oh my goodness, 40 messages? What the frick have they been talking about today? I gotta get through all these? That will be the thought. Instead, and that thought wasn't there in the beginning. And these thoughts, if you're probably honest, you've probably had a couple of those over these past couple weeks. That doesn't make you bad, it makes you human. And a lot of times people fade because they don't have that same excitement as they did in the beginning. That's normal. It happens in marriage. It happens in everything. We're always excited in the very beginning, and eventually the work remains and the excitement fades. But you can still inject. You can still purposely go in there and inject the excitement every single day. It has to be a choice, just like brushing your teeth. You wake up, I'm gonna be excited. And what are you gonna be excited about? Listen, why do you think I'm so excited about what's gonna be taking place Monday night? Do you think I'm just naturally excited about that? No, I'm excited because I choose to be excited. I'm excited because I tell myself that I'm excited. And when I tell myself I'm excited, and I keep, look at this, and your brain does not know the difference between a truth and a lie. It only knows what you tell it. And so when I tell myself enough times I'm excited, guess what? I naturally, genuinely, right now, I can tell you, like when I think about Monday night, I am excited. When I first thought of it, I was like, oh, okay, we'll do that. Excitement only exists now because I manufactured it. I created it and I injected it. So if you have an area in your life, how am I still excited about my marriage today? Is it because my husband never does anything that ticks me off? No, it's because I choose to be excited about the man that I got so blessed to marry 11 and a half years ago. I choose to be excited over seeing his butt. Got a cute one. I choose to be excited that I get another day where I get to touch his back or his leg or his arm. I choose to get excited in the moments when even I don't want to be. And so as we're coming into week 9, this week, don't walk in your natural excitement. Walk in the level of excitement that you're going to choose to have. Excitement's a choice. And most of the population's walking around thinking they have no control over it when we have total control over our excitement level. In business, we used to have an award. It was called the ARC Award, A-R-C. And it went, attitudes are contagious. Is yours worth catching? Are you the person who comes into a Marco Polo group and you brighten it by being there? Or are you the person who brightens it by leaving? We get to choose what we bring to the table in every setting, in every scenario. We get to choose what we bring to the table when we do our workouts. We get to choose what we bring. Do we bring our best or do we not? Are we excited or are we looking at it like a drag? And we all know how we treat things that are a drag. We don't want to do them. And you can only not want to do stuff so long before you start skimping, dragging, lagging, and eventually you fade off into the abyss and you become a has-been. Look at people's lives. It's sad but true. Most people go to their grave not reaching but a fraction of their potential. And they were waiting on getting bit by the excitement bug. The excitement bug don't exist. You got to go bite yourself.
Wow. It never ceases to amaze me how much their lives change, even on a weekly basis. Watching, even as they meet trials, watching them triumph, even as they meet obstacles, watching them overcome. And sometimes they're overcome in the moment, but then coming back and learning from it and getting stronger. And these 7 people throughout these past 8 weeks have lost 238.3 pounds. So crazy. Their lives, they're melting. Have you not noticed their faces? Their faces are getting smaller and chiseled, and Andy's arms are looking all like beastie and buff, and Peggy's shoulders. And anyway, if you heard in the video, we have opened up enrollment for our season 2 of The Biggest Transformation. I know many of you have asked, hey, are you going to do this again? When is it starting? It is going to be starting on April 19th. And so enrollment is currently open. You can find a link to the application down in the description box. And so right now, we are accepting applications. I don't know who the cast is gonna be. I don't know what it's gonna look like, but right now it is open for enrollment. And you know, we're carefully considering who the next season 2 cast is gonna be, because it takes a commitment. And we're looking for people who are sick of sitting on the sidelines. We're looking for people who are sick of accepting where they're at, and they said enough is enough, and they want change. They want transformation. And if that is you, and you've been inspired by these 7 people, and you know that yes, it might be hard, but if they can do it, so can you. Make sure to hit up that link in the description box. So thank you so much for watching. We will be back next Wednesday with another episode of The Biggest Transformation. So until then, have a great week. Bye.